Hello, Internet. I've been meaning to update you. The days go by, things happen, things continue to happen, things evolve, and I think, okay, well, need to wait for this to happen in order to do an update. But I just realized this evening that there's never a good time because things are always happening and always changing lately. So I wanted to get on here and provide a quick update and it may not be so quick this time. Again, I have to point out the fact that I am aware that some of you are checking these videos very faithfully and diligently. You guys are following closely, and that's why I'm aware when, a week, 10 days, 12 days goes by and I haven't updated you, especially in the midst of kind of an active period here. So I want to do that right now. It has been very busy. As you guys know who are following my channel, I have titled things that have to do with my cancer experience. It's in a playlist. It's in a separate playlist. If you go to my main YouTube page, you can find that there is the Cancer Trek, my Cancer Trek playlist. There's a few other videos that I've thrown in, just a handful here and there that don't relate to health issues. But what I wanted to say was that the videos that are under my Cancer Trek, they may not be specifically about cancer. However, all of the health issues that I'm dealing with are sort of a derivative of the cancer. It is sort of the domino effect that began actually now, isn't that crazy? Now we're talking about year before last in November, around Halloween of 2022, when I got my diagnosis. But issues with my gastrointestinal, liver, heart, urology. So we've got cardiology, gastroenterology, liver, and urology issues. All of those things are actually sort of piggybacking off of each other, and it goes all the way back to my cancer diagnosis, my chemotherapy. I had 6 sessions of chemotherapy between November and March, November of 22 and March of 23. So even though some of these health issues that are very kind of heavy doesn't sound like it's cancer, that it's directly related to cancer, it's still because of the cancer that I'm dealing with this. So, all right, laying that groundwork, let me update you on what has been happening. The last video that I posted, I mentioned that I would be having scans on the 26th of January, which was last Friday, about 5 days ago. I am very happy to say, and I'm very grateful to share with you that although I am not cancer-free by any means, my scans, my CT chest and abdomen show that the traces of cancer, or what they think is still lingering disease in my liver, are quite minor. There's one lymph node that they're watching, but it's marginally enlarged, and it grew very, very little in the last 3 months since the scan in November, or 2.5 months. So, and there's no new growth in the liver. There are a couple of suspicious, very small spots, like on the order of millimeters, but those aren't concerning enough that we need to do anything about them right now. They can be watched for another period of 3 months. And the same with my lungs. There have been a couple of just very, very small nodules. Like, we're talking 2 and 3 millimeters. And my oncologist kind of laughed. Actually, back in November, he kind of chuckled, and he did again last Friday, just saying, the radiologists, or the people who are, evaluating the CT scans, they're required to report those. But he said, as far as something clinically significant, it's not from an oncology standpoint. So yes, I have a few two or three, I think it is, very small 2-3 millimeter nodules in my left lung. But anyway, the bottom line is my CT scans did not show anything that we are concerned about as far as a recurrence of my cancer, my metastatic colon cancer. Nothing to be concerned about as far as needing to resume treatment, to get back on chemo, to do any ablations or radiation. And so he just said, hey, I want to see you again in April. And I already have this on the calendar for the end of April, my next set of scans. Also my CEA, which is the carcinoembryonic antigen. I've talked about this many times. It is a blood test that looks for a colon cancer tumor marker that's circulating in your body. And that CEA number was 1.2, which is very low and well within the range of what a normal person would have if they took that test. It was 1.0 in November and it went to 1.2 in January. So, okay, the bottom line is from a cancer perspective, things are okay. Things are fine for me right now. And I am massively overjoyed and relieved about that. It is a huge blessing. I'm thankful to God and thankful for those of you that have been praying that there has not been a recurrence, a progression of the disease, at least not at this time. So, okay, now we transition. What this means is that I have been able to move forward with a lot of hoop jumping and box ticking to prepare for a very long-awaited mitral valve replacement surgery. Again, the mitral valve replacement is due to the fact that I had a blood infection in December of 2022 that put me in the hospital. I was in the middle of chemotherapy. I had just been diagnosed. I had a lot of cancer in my large intestine. There are different theories of where the infection, it was a strep infection that is gut-based. It's very common in colon cancer people. It can also be orally introduced to the body, but what it did was it attacked my mitral valve, and I had already had mitral valve prolapse for 30 years. But what it did was it attacks my mitral valve and kind of shredded it. And so for a year, we've known that I have got a failing mitral valve. It hasn't been an emergency situation, but cardiology has told me that we need to get this fixed. And, you know, sometimes people can get their mitral valve repaired. In my situation, it needs to be replaced. So, again, I'm repeating information for those of you that follow the details of every single one of these videos. But the bottom line is, I finished my urology stuff in December that we had been waiting for months to deal with. Then we were told that were going to try to get my mitral valve replacement done in February. However, I needed a couple of dental procedures. Maybe you guys know heart surgeries. You need to have certain things in your mouth taken care of. And so what's happening is tomorrow I have a dentist appointment, an oral surgery. It's not major, but I've got a couple of issues that they want fixed, dealt with in advance of mitral valve surgery. So that's happening tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. And the way it looks right now, I am set for mitral valve replacement surgery next Friday, the 9th of February, which means it's just barely over a week away. And I've got tons and tons of appointments on the 8th. I'm actually going to have to go down to Mayo on the evening of the 7th because I have evaluations and tests and consultations starting very early on the morning of the 8th, including an angiogram. And all of that lasts all day long. And then the mitral valve replacement is scheduled for the 9th. And we don't have an exact time for that. But so my whole family, we're scrambling to try to figure out how to cover this, who's going to be there and for how long, and, you know, traveling, you know, it's about an hour and a half down to Rochester. So it's, you know, there's a little bit of scheduling that needs to be done. So I wanted to let you guys know about that because it's kind of imminent now. And I will finally get this mitral valve done. It is an open heart surgery. They actually breach the chest, the sternum. So it's not a small thing. I have to say that I'm not really that worried about it because of the huge surgeries I've been through in the last 13 months. So, you know, amazingly, I'm just more excited that we're finally here and that we're finally getting it done. More excited than I am anxious, which is kind of bizarre, but that's just how the perspective works out. So, anyway, we're up to 11 minutes on this video. And for those of you who are still listening, thank you. For those of you who are still praying, thank you. For those of you who are still following along on this trek that I've been on and walking with me, I say this in almost every video, but I'm so grateful for all of you, your thoughts, your prayers, your concern, your texts, your emails, your comments on the videos themselves, whatever it is. There's a gang of you that has really just been fantastic, and I appreciate the fact that you guys are walking with me during a time that is obviously very challenging. So that's the update for now. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to post again until post-surgery, till after the surgery, which means maybe it's going to be at least a couple of weeks or more. So there you have it. And that's the story for now. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.